Today's review is sponsored by the new Dr. Mechanic Shop. We'll rotate your heart every 5,000 miles, do an oil change for high cholesterol, but be careful when you request a lube job. It might get too personal.
Watch it, Alan. I'm shooting.
Who can kill a child?
It's cut off.
One of the most blunt titles ever gets right to the point. Today we're looking at one of my favorite movies in the killer kid genre, and one of the most disturbing. The killer kid genre is kind of fascinating. Children have always been seen as innocent and needed to be protected. The killer kid genre takes that and turns it on its head. I love when movies take something innocent and make that threatening. There have been many cases of child killers throughout history, but for the most part, kids are seen as innocent. We follow a young English couple on vacation in Spain, Tom and his pregnant wife Evelyn. Just a fair warning here, never be pregnant in a horror movie. It rarely goes well for you. Anyway, the two end up renting a boat to visit the island of Almanzora, a place that Tom visited when he was younger. When they arrive at the island, they discover that the place seems to be almost abandoned, except for a few kids in the area. After a while, the two discover that the children of the island have gone mad and murdered all the adults. Now Tom and Evelyn have to try to find a way to escape the island before they become these children's new plaything.
Tom! What's she doing?
Before we get into the rest of the movie, I have to talk about the opening credits of Who Can Kill a Child. It's the only part of the film that I don't like, and trigger warning for people, just a heads up here. So, during the opening credits, the movie talks about various wars and conflicts that have happened throughout history, and it particularly focuses on how these conflicts have affected children. Because, let's face it, when these conflicts break out, civilians do tend to suffer the most. What bothers me is the film shows actual footage that was captured during these events, and we get a lot of shots of actual dead bodies and actual suffering, and a fair amount of that is kids. I just don't like seeing stuff like that in a movie. I am a horror fan and I am a gore hound, but I don't like seeing actual death and actual suffering. If this footage was used in a documentary made to educate people about these tragedies, I would feel differently. But in terms of a movie, whether it's a film that's meant to entertain, make you feel sad, or make you disturbed, regardless of what the purpose is, I don't like real death put in a movie like this.
And the unconditional help of the government in Washington, which is built on the outskirts of Seoul, hospitals and rehabilitation centers. In these centers, the children are fed, taken care of.
It just doesn't sit right with me, and in all honesty, I think it does a disservice to the film, because the movie has plenty of creepy and disturbing moments. As a horror film, I think it's very effective, but nothing you see in the film is as disturbing as the real footage that they show at the beginning of the movie. But that's just my 2 cents. But once we get past that, the rest of the movie is a good killer kid horror movie. One of my my favorite things about the movie is that there's no explanation for why these kids have suddenly gone mad and have started killing adults. There are a few things it hints at here and there throughout the film. It is hinted at with the footage that we see at the beginning of the movie and other little things we see at the beginning. It's hinted at that the children are rebelling against the adults since the adults are the ones who cause all the problems that results in kids suffering. But it's also hinted at that there might be something supernatural going on. There is this one moment where we have these normal kids and they come in contact with the crazy kids, and it seems that the normal kids are corrupted just by a look.
Hola.
Hola.
The movie never explains why these kids turned evil. In many killer kid flicks, not all of them, but in a good amount of them, there is an explanation for why the kids turned bad, whether it be supernatural or otherwise. When it comes to the horror genre, there are times where both can work. Sometimes giving an explanation can make the movie scarier, but at times, in fact I would say most of the time, not giving an explanation is the better way to go. Who Can Kill a Child is an example of not having an explanation making the movie scarier. The kids in this movie are some of the most menacing in the killer kid genre. They're treated like this looming threat. They don't do any creepy chants or anything like that. They're not, standing around with these creepy gazes on their faces. A lot of the time they're laughing and cheering like normal kids while they're doing something violent. Sometimes a normal laugh can be scarier than an evil laugh.
Why have you done this? Why have you done this? ¿Por qué?
The movie takes what would be considered innocent kid games and turns them into something horrifying. Spoiler alert for one of my favorite scenes in the movie. If you haven't seen Who Can Kill a Child and you don't want to get spoilers, just skip ahead to this time in the video. So here we go, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. When our protagonists are on the mainland, they see a bunch of kids playing a game of piñata. When they're on the island, they see the evil kids playing their own version of piñata. But in this case, they have an old man strung up who was recently beaten to death. And that's their piñata. It's a great, frightening contrast. Here's this fun, innocent childhood game, and we're gonna turn it into something sinister. The movie has a good mix of on-screen violence and off-screen violence, knowing when showing the bloodshed is more effective, and knowing when not showing the bloodshed is more effective. It's a good balance.
Evelyn, I want you to do exactly as I tell you.
Tom, what's going on?
Now
What
listen.
are those shouts going
Now
on? What
listen.
are all those
Listen,
shouts?
listen,
What are those
listen.
screams?
Listen, we're
Tom?
getting out of here and we're going to run.
And then we have the title of the movie, Who Can Kill a Child? This becomes a core theme of the film. It's really driven home when the main characters come across this guy, a local man who lives on the island. He explains how one night the kids just went nuts and started going house to house, killing all the adults. What really hit me is how he explained that the adults wanted to fight back, but they couldn't. These were their children, after all.
Please, stay here. Es mi hija.
Vamos.
And later on in the film, when our main characters have no choice but to fight back, it gets to the point where they have to kill. These kids are the villains of the movie, and it gets to the inevitable point when our main characters have to defend themselves. And the movie doesn't just brush past this. It treats this like a significant event. Because, let's face it, from a moral standpoint, if you're someone who has never killed anybody before, it should not be that easy to just kill someone. Especially a kid. I appreciate when a movie does this. When they have a character who has never killed somebody before, kill someone for the first time, and then show the toll that it takes on them afterwards. There are a lot of movies that have the protagonist make their first kill and then they move on. But in this movie, it shows how difficult it can be for someone to have to deal with that.
Do the children realize what they're doing?
I don't know.
I would say that Who Can Kill a Child is one of the best movies in the killer kid genre. I'd put it way above something like Children of the Corn. It really focuses on the concept of dealing with killer kids, and these kids are some of the creepiest in the genre. And with that, let's get to the Grindhouse rankings. I think we have a body count of 24, but don't hold me to that. It gets messy in the third act. The kills consist of off-screen kills, being bludgeoned to death, and gunshots. There is a little nudity in the film with a shot of a woman's breast. I don't like the opening credit sequence where it shows the footage of actual death. If this were a documentary, I'd feel different, but here it bothers me. The kids are some of the best in killer kid movies. They're creepy and threatening. The violence is handled well. There's a good mix of on-screen and off-screen violence. The movie does not shy away from the fact that these characters are going to have to take out some kids and the impact that that can have on someone. There's plenty of suspense and atmosphere, and the film has a solid ending. I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5. This is one of the best movies in the killer kid genre. As always, I want to thank all of you for continuing to watch and support this channel. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know some of your favorite movies in the killer kid genre. I'm sure I've asked that before, but here it is again. This is the Maniac, here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die. I don't have to worry about my kids killing me, because I haven't been laid for a while.